We're back at the Nova Clinic. It's at the end of the day now on Friday. We've brought Tyra here to be given the once over and looked after. But of course we're all very keen, aren't we, to see how Peaches is getting on. So should we go and have a look? Yeah. Come on.
SOS, 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 I'm calling you. Break me down, I will get back up, I'm calling you. Pull me down, I will pull right back, I'm pulling through. You can break me with your sticks and stones. Make it stop, I'm hurting bad. Make it stop, make it stop, make it stop, I'm hurting bad. Calling out, calling out, calling out, I need your hand. Coming through, coming through, coming through, I'll wait for you. And you speak for me. I can hear you coming through for me. We're on the edge, we're holding on. You will be here soon now.
Good morning, my name is Mr. Gary.x from the Norton Animal Rescue Foundation. I am joined here in Sofia, Bulgaria, with Michelle Jones from Canine Rescue, Gavin Gamby Bulger from Wet Nose Animal Aid UK, and the wonderful celebrity actress Lorraine Chase, and also British TV presenter Wendy Turner-Webster, who are both passionate animal lovers. We are here today to show our support for Dr. George Litoff and his crippled dog Borko, and we are humbly asking the Bulgarian authorities to take a look at Borko's case, and first of all to halt the impending eviction notice that has been served upon the doctor and to have it quashed, and also to protect both the doctor and his animals from future persecution. Bulgaria is a wonderful, beautiful country, and it has many people who are passionate about animals. But there are certain elements in society who consider stray dogs as nothing more than pests and vermin. Let me tell you now, they are wrong. Dogs have for centuries been companion animals. They have both served and stood by the side of mankind for millennia and will continue to do so. To consider them as nothing more than pests and vermin is a great injustice to the species. We are therefore asking the Bulgarian authorities to implement a national programme of spay and neuterings primarily aimed at owned pets. Now, because of indiscriminate breeding, this exasperates the problem and results in the current stray population. Also, we're asking for a national educational programme to be implemented. This will counteract the report which was recently aired on local media, broadcast channel TV7, which incidentally is owned by Allegro Capital of London, England, which was the initial basis for this entire mission and showed Borko being beaten. Bulgaria has a thriving tourist industry, and it would be such a shame to have it tarnished by certain elements within society who inflict such acts upon animals, such as in the case of Borko the dog. I would like to thank the Bulgarian authorities and also the general public for all their hard work in relation to animal welfare. And if there's one thing I would love to see happen within Bulgaria and surrounding countries, it would be for all pet owners to have their animals neutered. Thank you.
Good morning, and it's our last morning. We've had a few days of adventure here. God, it seems like weeks. But to sign off, we're going to have a few final thoughts, and to kick that off, it's over to Gavin from Wet Nose.
Coming to Bulgaria was something of an unknown. The initial expedition was to come and see Borko and what was going on with surrounding his story. It developed into several strands of adventure, if that's the right word, where we went to the isolator unit on the first day, an area that we thought that was going to be quite horrific, but in fact turned out to be very much less so, and perhaps wasn't quite as bad as we thought. We followed this up by going to a small family-run rescue, and then ultimately to a privately run large rescue centre in Sofia. We saw altogether about 1,400 stray dogs, which made us realise the size of the problem in just the short time that we were here. My own feelings were that I was immensely impressed with the work that Canine Rescue were doing, although primarily their role is looking after sick and disabled dogs. There was very much a spin-off in getting aid and publicity for the other unfortunates. And to that end, in fact, Wet Nose has pledged £1,000 in due course for that cause. Summing up, I think that the assignment was successful, and that we will be able to promote a huge amount of publicity and aid to Bulgaria via Canine Rescue Agency.
My role here has been to the invitation of Wet Nose, Gary from Wet Nose, who I've known since Wet Nose got going a few years ago. I have supported them and will continue to support them. And I suppose, excuse me, I was brought here really on the story of Borko. I wasn't really aware of the amount of strays on the street, and also the problems at the village where Borko was. So I don't know what I came here expecting. I met Dr. George. I was absolutely, well, one can't put into words. That man has done such a lot for the little dog, and the little dog's courage was extraordinary. And I got a little teary on that day. We then went to what I heard was called the isolator, which to me sounded like something terrible, like RoboCop or The Killers or Terminator 2 or something. And I then became very aware of the situation with the stray dogs, how vast that problem was. And I thought that the government, which has only recently been trying to help this situation, was doing the very best it could at that moment. I mean, there are obviously other things they can do. And the isolator wasn't as bad as I thought. There was something missing for the dogs, who were all outside. Some of the dogs were a little like children sent away to boarding school. Some did very well, and others that wasn't a good situation, so it was very mixed. Thanks to Michelle at Canine Rescue, we were taken to quite diverse situations. So the next situation was the home of, I think, the lovely Maria with her auntie, her great character. And although that situation, you know, there were tins about, there was probably holes in the floor, dogs aren't aware of luxury. They don't notice those things. And those dogs were very happy. They had contact, they had human contact. and it was a very good situation. So you thought, maybe that's the answer. And then, of course, we went on to the last of our destinations, where it was very much like the isolator, in that you had lots of groups of animals in cages. And last night, I have to say, I had a difficult job getting to sleep. And the reason I had that was because what became very evident from the last visit was what, hard to put into words, and unless you're there, you were very aware of the need of the dogs for human contact. And one of the things that really didn't upset me, because they were not cruelly treated. They were in a good situation, but they were so desperate to be loved. And I've never seen such desperation on such a magnitude. And it's made me very aware of just what we're missing when we cannot see what dogs can give us, and how they need us, and how actually we need them. If you could get a hand in, if they would put their backs up, they would try and get their whole body so that you could stroke them. And of course it was quite difficult because of the barks. The good thing was at that last one that it had the mixture that the isolator didn't. Those dogs were taken every night. They had people come in and take those dogs for a walk. So though they were in a mass situation, they did have contact. And I think that showed the balance that is needed. I've come away a much better person for the experience. And I thank goodness for my Teddy, who I take everywhere, because at night I viciously cuddled him, because there are a lot of faces in my mind of delightful doggies that if I'd have tried to choose one, I couldn't if my life depended on it, because there were so many. But I would say to anyone who sees this film, if you're up for having a dog, there are some beauties to be had here. So please, think about it.
Well, for me, it's been an incredible journey. When Gary first asked me to schedule the Borko trip, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to show you, but even I have been surprised, really. Going to Slapsy was a key moment for me, because I've only ever seen footage from there. It's been very hard in the past to even get inside the door. I've heard all the rumours, I've seen all the photographs and the film footage showing dogs in despicable conditions, which is representative of how isolators are right across Bulgaria. And yet when we went in there, it wasn't like that. They had made a huge effort to turn the place around, and it was a very welcome surprise. But that's not to say that the other isolators in Bulgaria have changed. They haven't. And I would like to see, perhaps as a result of this trip, that other isolators take note what has been done here in Sofia at the Slapsy isolator, and they too make those same changes. Yet for me there is still an unanswered question. We've seen going around Sofia very few dogs here. I haven't been to Sofia for a couple of years now, so I remember the streets being full of dogs. Everywhere you looked, you saw dogs. If you look now, you might see one or two. The actual count of dogs varied wildly between different organisations. The mayor had admitted 9,000 dogs 2 years ago. Charities were saying it was nearer 70,000. We don't actually know the true number. But even if we say the minimum number of 9,000 admitted by the mayor, we saw at Slapsy that they had 850 dogs. We know at ARS they have 500 dogs there and a few other hundred adopted. So where are the other thousands? And we haven't had that answered during this trip, and it's still a question that I would like to pursue. One of the highlights for me was going around the new facility of Seslapsi, where they had 850 dogs. I went there to see if they had any special needs dogs, and I quickly walked around the cages to see, and I saw this little face hiding in the back of a kennel, and I thought, that face doesn't look quite right. I said to the vet, what's wrong with that dog? And he said, oh, she's aggressive. And I said, nothing else wrong? No, she has a skin condition. So I said, well, I'd like that dog, please. He said, okay. And it transpired that not only did she have a skin condition, she actually had pneumonia, and she would not have survived in those conditions. So I'm really thrilled that we spotted her and now got her in our clinic. And hopefully she will be adopted in Western Europe somewhere and have a wonderful life. Now, you know, that's 1 out of 850 dogs that are in undesirable circumstances, even though more effort is being made. The remaining 849, they don't really have that promise, not really, and that's what is very sad, I think. Another highlight for me was being able to take everyone to Animal Rescue Sofia. The girls there, they do such a remarkable job in very difficult circumstances with very few resources, and it was wonderful to be able to show the world exactly what good work they do there. And as Lorraine said, the dogs are craving of attention, and we heard from Stella that so many of them do not get adopted purely because of colour, would you believe? One thing I would really like people to take away from this programme is to consider adopting a dog from Bulgaria. Bulgaria has so many wonderful, stable, adorable dogs, craving of affection. They would not regret that at all. And they can contact Canine Rescue or contact Animal Rescue Sofia directly to see what dogs are available. And we saw it in our clinic. We have Lucky, who was hit by a car with multiple injuries. Aaron, who's lost his leg, probably due to a car accident as well. We have so many loving dogs, so please do consider that. Thank you.
Well, I think I expected to see many horrendous sights out here on this trip to Bulgaria, and to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I thought. None of the rescue centres or shelters are pretty sights, but people do seem to be doing their best with very limited resources and under very difficult circumstances. I think my abiding thought or memory from this trip will be the number of cases of really deliberate cruelty that's taken place with regards to some of these dogs. The dogs that had limbs missing because somebody actually made the decision to cut those limbs off, whether they used shears or an axe. We saw a few cases of those dogs that had been blinded deliberately, shot deliberately. We saw several cases of that, animals that had been deliberately harmed, really with the intent to make them suffer. And unfortunately, you know, that is what I suppose I will take away from this trip. Couple that together with the fact that people who do these atrocities haven't in the past been prosecuted at all. And that's the real crime and shame here. However, I was really quite encouraged that sort of the younger generation who are coming up do seem to have a different viewpoint and a different attitude, and hopefully it is a sort of idea of hope now that things will change with, as I say, a younger generation and different, more compassionate attitudes. So all in all, had a great time, met some lovely dogs, lovely people, and won't be forgetting it in a hurry.